It's all alive and well in 2021. Cobra Kai, which debuted on YouTube Red in 2018, resurfaced on Netflix last month and continues to be one of Netflix's most popular series. It was a game changer when Karate Kid came out in 1984. Everyone watched the film and it was an instant classic. Today, years later, people are still reflecting with admiration on the film. Cobra Kai allowed the legacy to live on, introducing new characters to the mix. Hello guys, welcome back to Trend Craze. In today's episode, we talk about what Cobra Kai really looks like behind the scenes. Before diving in, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel and turn on post notifications. Number 7. Location of the show. The majority of Cobra Kai was shot in Los Angeles, California and Atlanta, Georgia, according to IMDb. A website named Reel to Reel took a closer look at the locations of the show and stated that several scenes of Season 1 and 2 were filmed in other cities around Georgia, including Fayetteville, Peachtree City, Marietta, Conyers, and Union City. Cobra Kai's certain parts actually take place in California in areas like Reseda, Encino, and Tarzana. If you want to see the Cobra Kai dojo in real life, don't look for it on the West Coast. The strip mall where Johnny started his business is supposed to be in Los Angeles, but it's actually located in Atlanta. According to Reel, the interior scenes of the dojo were filmed on a sound stage, but the exterior shots were taken at the Atlanta mall. Although LaRusso's lovely family home definitely looks like it will fit in the suburbs of Los Angeles, the house is actually located in Marietta, Georgia. All the scenes of his beloved dealership, LaRusso Auto Group, were shot nearby in Union City, Georgia. LaRusso is shifting back to the hometown of Mr. Miyagi. The co-creator of the show, Jon Hurwitz, tweeted, saying that parts of the upcoming Season 3 were actually shot in Okinawa. Number 6. Released on YouTube Premium. Before Cobra Kai made a massive debut on Netflix, it was released on YouTube Premium. It didn't get as much clout as it deserved on the YouTube Premium. Many people heard about it, of course, but not everyone took the time to watch it. YouTube's change of strategy doesn't come as a surprise. Even as they sought to add a range of original programming to the platform, viewers remain reluctant to pay for yet another streaming service as the cluttered content space continues to get more crowded. The pivot to a more unscripted focus often doubles down on what originally made YouTube successful. It's already been a place where social media creators and influencers hit it hard with reality-focused vlogs and shows. Netflix's esteemed slate and worldwide scope have been a significant influence in Sony TV's decision, the company that owns the series, to place the project in their possession. Not only does this open the floodgates to make it possible for a whole new segment of the audience to see Cobra Kai a problem of access to the YouTube series faced when it was behind a paywall when it premiered, but the nostalgic sound of the show will undoubtedly pull huge numbers from adults, while the high school drama aspect of the series will cater to younger viewers. No matter how you look at it, it's a win-win move on all accounts. Number 5. Will Smith as the producer. Will Smith is Cobra Kai's executive producer, and that's why the movie star is involved in the series. A couple of years ago, the Karate Kid franchise returned to YouTube Premium with Cobra Kai. Picking up decades after the events of the very first trilogy, the series saw Ralph Macchio return as Daniel LaRusso and William Zabka returns as Johnny Lawrence. Their revived rivalry is one of the many storylines that Cobra Kai follows, and the show has continued to grow on what the movie started back in 1984. Macchio and Zabka are only a few familiar faces from the Karate Kid franchise who have starred so far, but the show itself comes from self-proclaimed superfans Josh Hilt, Jon Hurwitz, and Hayden Schlossberg. The three of them act as showrunners and have earned the blessing from Sony and producer Jerry Weintraub to continue the franchise. But audiences may also find a surprising name for Cobra Kai's credits: Will Smith. Smith's participation in Cobra Kai derives from the reboot of the 2010 Karate Kid starring Jackie Chan and Will's son, Jaden Smith. Sony owned the Karate Kid franchise before the first 4 films were made, but Smith's production company, Overbrook Entertainment, purchased the rights to direct the reboot. Overbrook's ownership of the franchise rights did not lapse, considering the fact that a sequel was never made to the remake, but this allowed the studio to get Cobra Kai right. As co-founder of the company, Smith receives executive producer credit for the series. Number 4. Xolo Maridueña's intense training. Mari Dueña recently sat down to speak with GQ, revealing that his co-star Jacob Bertrand, who plays Eli Hawk Moskowitz, also estimated all young cast members of the series are asked to perform 90 to 95% of their own stunts. That last 5% is just stuff that's not safe for me to do, he said, like getting thrown into a tree or down a staircase. Well, that's understandable. Mari Dueña went on to give a deep dive at what it indeed was like to get the Cobra Kai crack squad into shape, explaining that when he was recruited to play Miguel at 16, he didn't know precisely what he was in for. We had a month of preparation before we even got to film. It was the hardest I've ever had to train. I spent high school and middle school playing basketball for fun, and I was on a high school tennis team. But there's nothing to prepare you for the flexibility that martial arts demand. I've got videos of the first few days when my legs just feel like spaghetti. Mari Dueña explained that when Cobra Kai first started production, the storyline was heavily focused on himself and Johnny, meaning that he was the only cast member to get the trainers through his paces on a daily basis. Number 3. Jacob Bertrand's mohawk. There are no wigs, weaves, or other gadgets involved in making Hawk's signature hairstyle. That's his real hair. It takes over an hour to put up, and it's almost all hairspray, which is pretty insane. Bertrand said in a recent interview with TV Line, "I take about an hour and a half to 2 hours just for my hair and makeup with a back tattoo and lip and mohawk." Bertrand also revealed that when it comes to Cobra Kai's bone-crunching fighting scenes, nearly 90% of the time he and the rest of the cast are kicking, punching, and body slamming themselves. Our stunt coordinators, Hiro Koda and Janelle Kerfman, train us so that we can do as much as we're expected to, he said. "I'm always begging them to let me do more. We get into the dojo and work for a couple of hours a day. Whenever we're not filming, they ask us to train." Number 2. Peyton List lands her role in the last minute. Among the fighters at the dojo and the latest wave of students is the powerful Tori Nichols, played by the 22-year-old Peyton List, who joined the series in Season 2. List is no stranger to the spotlight after she appeared on the cover of the American Girl magazine as a child among her hundreds of modeling credits, and featured in the rom-com 27 Dresses as a teenage Jane Nichols. She developed a loyal follows of 17.6 million on Instagram to be exact. A lot of young fans came to know the actress through the Disney Channel, where she played Emma Ross on Jessie, who also starred in Austin and Ally and I Didn't Do It. Peyton List admitted, "I received the audition super last minute the night before and never in my wildest imagination would have thought I could play the part. It was such a happy shock when I got it. The actress easily deserves her role in Cobra Kai, don't you think?" Number 1. Hilary Swank may join the cast. Cobra Kai has so far brought back plenty of classic Karate Kid characters, but there's one in particular that needs to appear in Season 4, and that is Hilary Swank's Julie Pierce from the next Karate Kid. The producers of the show have stated that Swank's film is a canon of the Cobra Kai timeline, as it also includes Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi. The speculation about Swank's return to the franchise has been swirling for some time, and Season 4 is now the ideal chance to make that happen. Until Season 3, Cobra Kai was primarily concerned with the competition between Johnny and Daniel and the resulting vicarious rivalries of their students. It's certainly not all that occurs in Season 1 and 2, but much of the plot is motivated by the two men's long-standing rivalry. Season 3 is shifting the script a little, with Kreese being the final villain of the show, forcing Johnny and Daniel to settle their differences and join forces against him by the end of the final. The new Johnny-Daniel team-up sets the tone nicely for Julie to come back. To start with, Julie could give a lot of unique training and wisdom to the joint students of Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang Karate. Season 4 is likely to concentrate extensively on balancing and learning from others, as shown by Johnny and Daniel, who embrace each other's similarities and differences. Julie will be great in this plot, where she could provide a third perspective as a different, unique Miyagi-Do sensei. Her inclusion will help the students as they train for the All Valley tournament, and it could help teach Johnny and Daniel a thing or two. Alright guys, that's it for today's episode. Comment down below your favorite Cobra Kai moment. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on bell for more updates. See you soon!